Let's solve Leetcode question 79, word search. So if you're giving a multiplex and a grid characters board and a string word, return true if word exists in the grid. And if you take a look at the example, the board is ABCE, SFCS, and like this. And the word it asks you to search is ABCCED. So you go along this grid and ABCC ED, right? So if you can find it, return the result as true in this case. If you can't find it, then return false. The word can be constructed from letters of sequentially adjacent cells, where adjacent cells are horizontally or vertically neighboring. So basically, it tells you that the next word they're right connect to each other, and you can only go 4 directions: up, down, left, or right. And small excuse me, the same letter cell may not be used more than once. So if you are looking for C and the next C has to be in a different cell, if you can't use the C twice, that's what it meant. In the second example, they're asking to look for the word SEE, and you can find SEE, and so you return true in this case. And then the next one it asks you to find is the word ABCB, A, B, C, and then when you look C's neighbor, and there's simply no B at all, right? So you gotta have to return false in this case, and there are some constraints here, and you can see that in the last 6 months, this is a frequently asked question. So it's super important and definitely a great question to practice on. And when I look at this question, I think the easiest way is that solve this question using depth search, because when you use depth search, you can recursively look for its neighbor, and you can go by depth until the end that you cannot go further anymore. You just continue to search, right? Let's say when I find the A, and I'm gonna continue to look for the neighbor, to look for the next character, and until that in the end that I find the entire word it's looking for, then I'm gonna return true, right? And I'm gonna roll out some cases if it's out of bound, or simply like see if the next character I find it's E. If E does not equal to the next C we're looking for, those kind of cases we want to return false as well. And what I'm thinking is that if every time when I look for a word is that I'm gonna put this value to a temp value, and then I'm gonna change this cell to a different character, and then I'm gonna do depth search on its neighbor or on all 4 directions. Once I do the depth search, I'm gonna return the result on its neighbor. And if either one of the direction is true, let's say like this C, which is the next character that we're looking for, it returns true, then I'm gonna return true in this case. And then after that, I'm gonna change this cell back to the original temp value that I have set. And then in the end, I'm gonna continue the search and do it recursively, and then return the result in the end. And then I'm gonna call the depth search function, and then if I find the word, I'll return true, and if I couldn't find it, I'll return false. And I'm gonna show you how to do this in code. And then I think first we can roll out some edge cases. If not board or not board 0, we're gonna return false, right? And then I'm gonna define the board rows calls equals to length of board and length of board 0. So I'm gonna define the depth search excuse me, define the depth search function. So there's RC, And then the other parameter that I want to pass along this way is the word, because I'm doing search on this word and I will include the word in my function. And first, we're going to think about the base case, like under what kind of situation that we can terminate the function is that if we find a word, right, we will return true. So if we find a word, so if length of word equals to 0, we find every single character in this world, then we can return true in this case. That's a base case. And now I'm going to rule out some out of bound situation, like if R is smaller than 0, or C is smaller than 0, or R out of bound bigger than the largest row and bigger than the cause, or simply the word, the first character in the word that we're looking for does not equal to the RC on the board. So we're looking, because we're starting from looking for the first character, right? Let's say A. If I find this character is not A, I'm simply gonna return false in this case, right? Like I mentioned, that what I'm gonna do, if they are inbound and let's say we start search from here, right? So I'm gonna save the temp, the A to a temp word, temp value for to put the A, right? And I'm gonna put the change the board RC to a different character. So then in that case, what I can do is I'm gonna do defer search on its neighbor. When I do defer search on its neighbor, is RC, right? But the word, what should we do with the word? Because we already look for the first character, right? And then that's from the index 0. So we want to start the next index 0's neighbor is index 1, right? So we wanted to do is, well, we want to start from, excuse me, index 1. That's how you do it for the string. And then I'm going to do for its neighbor, actually not plus, because if either of one of them is true already, then it's good enough. I don't need to like plus them together, and it will be all for directionally, and it will be R minus 1, and then here will be C plus 1, and then C minus 1 in this case. And then I will assign it the result equals to any one of the 4 directional is true. If I find any one of the direction is the second character we're looking for in this world, then I can change the board RC back to its original value, which is temp. And then after change back to temp, I'm going to return the result. That's the main part of the defer search function. And then the next step is that I'm going to call the defer search function for R in range of rows and for C in range of calls, right? If defer search RC word, I can't talk today. And if I find the result, it's returned true, right? I'm going to return true in this case. If I go through the entire for loop, I can't find a word, what I'm going to do is I'm going to return false. Yep. Yeah, I hope this is helpful. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon with more Leetcode questions. Bye bye.